So y'all, it is January the 4th, 2018, and y'all, we've been discussing at great length an article or an excerpt that was written by Emily Chang on Vanity Fair, that was put on Vanity Fair, and there's a whole book written about it by Emily Chang. Alright, and we're discussing a whole world of confusion and chaos and sexual suicide, basically. We're discussing that and what all these people think about it. Just to bring us back up to speed, we were just discussing a lady by the name of Elizabeth Sheff. And she feels like all this perversion that we've discussed, it holds women down. Alright? And it's very manipulative of them, and they never really win. They never really get what it is that they're trying to get, and who knows what they're trying to get in these scenarios. Elizabeth Sheff said that's very sexist. The whole thing of it is very sexist, to which I would agree. And of course, there's a lot of stuff that me and Elizabeth Sheff probably don't agree on. Alright? But not only is that, and the article very well describes all that, not only is it very, very exploitative of women, not only is it very sexist, and it absolutely is, but it's very secretive in nature, and so it does leave open the door for all sort of different various things that you might not be so comfortable with, to include homosexual orgies. And I'm never going to break up a homosexual orgy in my life. I'm not trying to stop them. All right. But however, the homosexual orgies do exist for sure. 100% guaranteed that you shouldn't even really wonder about it at this point. I know that some people are never going to believe it. Yeah, it absolutely does happen. It happens in the Vatican. It happens all the time. It's really disgusting and gross. With these effeminate men, they just like to have sex with everything. It's described in the Bible, by the way. But, you know, that's a whole different other video. We're going to continue with this article. Like I said, Elizabeth Sheff says this is bad for ladies, to which I would agree. All right, so we're going just to continue. And Jennifer Russell, who runs the established Camp Mystic at Burning Man, is more sympathetic. Now, this is, you already understand what Burning Man is, so I'm not going to even bother. Men and women are equally drawn to creating a structure that invites their full sexual expression. And events like this are a safe place to dabble, in reference to Burning Man. Camp Mystic. She said, this is a safe place. This is a safe place if you want to just explore and break the chains and get free and not exploit yourself. This is where you come to. She says, it's way better than a swingers club would feel, because this is a home and you are surrounded by people you know. I guess so. I guess so. Jennifer Russell says there's safer places to do this sexual orgies at. You might want to consider that. Married VC admits, however, that for many men, these parties aren't so much about self-expression. Basically stating the obvious. As much as they are simply sport effing. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. That's what it's all about. It's not about expanding horizons. It's about knocking this and that lady on the booty and then talking about it later with your friends and stuff. All sort of ladies. That's what it all comes down to at the end of the day. And it actually gets even worse than that. It's all about dominance, and it does get sexually perverse, a lot more perverse than just ladies. Alright? So, married VC admits, however, blah, blah, blah. It's not self-expression so much as it is sport effing. Alright? Some guys will whip out their phones and show off the trophy gallery of girls that they've hooked up with, he says. Maybe this is behavior that happened on Wall Street all the time. But in a way, they owned it. In a sense, because the guys on Wall Street have a manliness about them and an assertiveness. They kind of owned, oh yeah, I'm assertive and I take ladies. Alright? That's what I do. This is what Wall Street people have been doing since the beginning. Athletes and everything else, these celebrities, they kind of own it. You know, they kind of own their sexual promiscuity because women throw themselves at these people all the time. So they own it. Meanwhile, this is a different situation we're talking about, an altogether different situation. These founders do this, they do this behavior, what he's trying to explain, but they try not to own it, which is unprecedented. It is completely unmanly. It's completely unnatural. And it's completely out in the open, wide and obvious. So he says they talk about diversity on one side of their mouth, and you got to know, we're talking about Google, we're talking about YouTube and Facebook, we're talking about everybody who hangs out in Silicon Valley knows exactly what happens in Silicon Valley. And at the same time, what's the most egregious is that these very same individuals want to talk to us about how we hold down ladies and we oppress them with our rhetoric and things like this. Meanwhile, they are doing exactly physically what they purport to be against. And they do it all the time. They do it in secret. That's what we're discussing here. All right. So these founders, they do the behavior, but they try not to own it. They talk about diversity on one side of their mouth, but on the other side, they say all of this bullshit about how we don't know how to treat women. Y'all, by definition, never knew how to treat women. By definition. And we're going to discuss that in a lot of great detail probably further on in this video. But let's just go ahead and read, or maybe another video, but let's go ahead and continue reading on. The new paradigm for women getting screwed. All right, just to ram it home, the article continues. For successful women in Silicon Valley, the drug and sex party scene is a minefield to navigate. We're talking about not the young ladies who are in it just trying to be secretaries and get easy money. We're not talking about these ladies. We're talking about the young ladies who we nurture in our schools, and we encourage them to get into the tech field because they have an intelligence for it. I know we all see young, beautiful, intelligent girls out there, and they're learning all about the tech field. Why? Because they know there's money involved. All right? But what's not being told to any of these young ladies, what is crucial, that needs to be told to every single one of these ladies, is that it is a minefield to navigate. You're not going to experience success. Success going to be dangling on a rope in front of you. You're not never going to get it. You might get a little bit of money, and at the same time, you are going to basically be made to exploit the shit out yourself. And that's unfortunate. Because we'd rather see young ladies enter the tech field and get the maximum amount of opportunity to change the world. We would rather see that, but they're not getting the opportunity. Instead, they're finding a minefield to navigate. And we're not telling them about it. So, let's continue. This isn't a matter of Bay Area tech women being more prudish than most. I doubt recent history has ever seen a cohort of women more adventurous and less restrained in exploring sexual boundaries. That's what Emily Chang just said, and just to simplify it, in other words, what she's saying is, in our social climate, we've never experienced the amount of ladies who sincerely don't have boundaries sexually. It's never been so widely accepted that women do whatever. Like they exploit themselves in all sort of different number of ways, trying to seek freedom, trying to say that they're rebellious. Nothing you're doing is new. So you're not rebelling against anything. You're just exploiting yourself. All right? And so we wouldn't want to see our young tech girls go that way. But however, they're being made to navigate that minefield, and we're going to discuss that. She said this: the problem is that the culture of sexual adventurism now permeating Silicon Valley tends to be more consequential for women than it is for men, particularly as it relates to their careers in tech. It's very much a double standard. It's wide and out in the open. Don't nobody want to talk about it. Take multi-time entrepreneur Esther Crawford as an example, says Emily Chang, who is familiar with sex parties, specifically those of an equal gender ratio and strict rules about consent. Apparently there's some parties where there's not so strict rules about consent, but some are more strict. And, Esther Crawford talks openly about her sexual experiments and open relationships. in desperate search for happiness that she has not found yet. For 4 years, she had been in a non-monogamous, or as they say, monogamish relationship with Chris Messina, a former Google and Silicon Valley type and Uber employee best known for inventing the hashtag. Believe it or not, when you invent things like that, you get hella paid. When you invent the hashtag. More recently, Crawford and Messina have started a company together called Molly. Let's look into it. Perhaps not uncoincidentally, the same name as the drug, where they are developing a non-judgmental, artificially intelligent friend who will support your path to more self-awareness. I don't know if you even just caught that, because I didn't catch it the first time, but this Crawford and Messina, who casually have sexual relations with each other because they're trying to see happiness that they're not going to find. They're in the process of developing what's called a non-judgmental, keyword, artificially intelligent friend who will support your path to more self-awareness. How much more socially disordered can you get? We've already discussed a tech world in which these men typically they're very awkward around women. So it's not much, they don't become in contact with them very much. These very people are inventing an artificially intelligent friend for people who don't have friends. That will, at one time, in one hand, be not judging you at all, and at the other hand, confirming that everything that you think is awesome and amazing, and you should pursue it. And a robot telling you this. We live in the future. It's 2018, but let's just continue to read a little bit more before we leave off on... Let's see what note we leave off on, alright? They're creating a robot for people who don't have friends, that doesn't judge you, and supports you in everything that you do. They also chose to become a monogamous for a while, become a monogamous, or whatever. These people creating the robot chose to become monogamous for a while. Seeing other people was getting too complicated, according to them. However, a robot friend is not complicated at all to them. But the future of relationships is not just with humans, but with AI characters, Crawford told me. See the big, long diving board that these people are jumping off of. They don't even need humans no more. They're going to have sex with sex robots. There already are sex robots. They got it all lined up. Meanwhile, they're on a constant search for what has never been done, because once they find what's never been done, it's going to make them happy forever. And then when they do it, when they finally accomplish it, you find out there's no happiness at all. So they continue to do it. It does involve pedophilia. It does involve robots. It is absolutely amazing. It's amazing to even think that this world exists, and it does, and it is unacceptable. But let's just go ahead and continue. Find out where we left off. Like I said, the people are making a robot, a robot friend for you. By December 2017, which has already passed, they had raised $1.5 million for their new company. That's what these people are playing with, millions. People say, "Oh, you can invent a friend for me. I'll give you money." By the millions. Will it have sex with me too? Here's more millions. That's what we need. That's really what we need. In the meantime, Crawford is acutely aware of the harsh reality that as a female entrepreneur, she faces so many challenges that men don't. She's becoming more and more aware of how she's a victim her whole life. What she has found is that for a woman, pushing private sexual boundaries comes with a heavy price. Let's go ahead and just reiterate. Yes, she's exactly correct. If you are a young lady, and yes, there are two genders, you are one of them. You are a lady. If you are a lady and you're wanting to come up in this industry, know exactly what kind of heavy price comes at the end of whatever sexual exploration that you want to do that you feel has never been done before. It absolutely has been done before. and it will be devastating in the end. I'm sorry to say that, but I'm trying to keep you away from even dancing that minefield. And we're going to leave off on that note. And we're going to start off, and hopefully we're going to be finishing this course pretty soon, because I feel like we're really getting to the heart of the matter. I feel like people are really starting to absorb what is taking place. Yes, it is ass backwards. Yes, there is no justice involved. No, there is no lines being drawn. Yes, pedophilia is accepted. Yes, sex with robots is accepted. All right, you're going to have robot friends. Anyways, I'll holler at y'all on the next video. It's January the 4th, 2018. I'll holler at y'all.